Here we have a beautifully cut but plain gray suit with a pale blue shirt and a blue tie. So it's all without pattern. So adding in a patterned scarf.
Always, yeah, that's a real level of interest.
You know, Chris, for such a simple accessory, I think that there's a lot to be said about wearing a beautiful cashmere scarf.
No, definitely. I think cashmere is not a cheap cloth,
no.
So it's certainly a luxury thing, but I think having a scarf can really elevate any look.
Yeah, it's one of the, at least in my mind, it's one of the accessories that is often overlooked, but can really dramatically change the actual appearance of your outfit. As we have here, just by throwing on this sort of burgundy, cashmere scarf, you've really changed the look of this. I mean, you brought in a whole new color. You sort of brought up the, the emphasis, onto the face even more with the volume of the scarf. So it really, it does a lot.
It's almost like the traditional necktie. In fact, it adds a bit of character, a little bit of color, a little bit of texture. When I was younger, you'd very rarely see somebody wearing a scarf without an overcoat. Mm-hmm. But actually, the way we live now, and the fact we go in quite warm buildings, you're only outside for a certain amount of time, you need to keep the chill off. Yep. Wearing a cashmere scarf with an awesome jacket is a very elegant but practical way of dressing.
Yeah, sometimes it's all you need. And for those of you who haven't actually worn a cashmere scarf, it is very warm, it is very comfortable. It's nice to have that, wrapped around your neck on a cool autumn day where, like you said, you're going from a car maybe into a building and there's just not a need for a big coat. Chris, what are some of your favorite ways to style a scarf?
If I'm wearing it with a blazer or perhaps just a suit and it's not that cold, I would tend to put it wearing like this. It's got to keep the chill out. I like to keep it around my body. And it's a nice practical way of wearing a scarf, not likely to lose it. When it gets colder, I'd always be wearing an overcoat. My overcoats are generally quite double-breasted, so I keep quite warm here. I like to use the scarf knotted at the neck to sort of keep that cold away from my face.
So it's sort of an element of function over style?
Always. Everything I do is function over style. Everything. That's actually my mantra.
Of course.
This is a plain cashmere scarf, and you wouldn't expect it to dress it up as much as it has, really, would you?
You wouldn't expect it to, but it definitely does. And I think when you sort of think back about the classic menswear rules, it sort of makes sense. And feel free to correct me if you have.
I will, don't you worry.
Oh, I know you will. But I think a lot of menswear is sort of based on moving the eye upwards, focusing on the face, and as you can see, having that pop of color and that volume around the neck really does sort of bring the eye up. And the fact that it's a plain scarf, there's nothing distracting you because you have quite a patterned outfit here. You have a patterned jacket, you have a patterned tie, you have a very strong pocket square. So here, just having a plain, beautiful cashmere scarf does a lot to
in a complementary
color does a lot to emphasize the face, draw the eye up, and quite classic.
And the thing about cashmere scarves is that cashmere dyes such wonderful rich colours. You don't see the same colour in wool. You might get dark grey, you might get navy, you might get yellow, but the cashmere versions always just look like a little bit more vibrant and richer and more depth to the colour.
I think there's something to really be said about a cashmere scarf that adds a pop of color. Gray or a charcoal or navy, I think would be an obvious choice, but most men have gray or charcoal or navy suits, and you're going to lose the scarf against that suit.
I have, but not the first colour you buy.
No, but I think like we have here, really, this pop of color elevates the look.
Green's also a good colour for the same reason.
Exactly.
But once you've got the basics covered, you might want a pattern. This is a nice one because you've got lots of really useful shades in it. You've got blues, navies, greys, but it's quite limiting. I think for it to look as elegant as it does now, you need to be quite considered.
Yeah, I would agree with you, but I think a patterned scarf really can do a lot to dress up an outfit. Here we have a beautifully cut but plain gray suit with a pale blue shirt and a blue tie. It's all without pattern. So adding in a patterned scarf.
Always, yeah, that's a real level of interest.
Yeah, a whole nother level of interest. So it elevates. The outfit is already well considered and a gorgeous outfit, but it elevates it, even further.
I really like this look, but where I think this scarf would really come into its own is worn perhaps less formally. It would look amazing with like a navy peacoat or perhaps like a wax jacket. Fantastic. Where you just got a simple plain jacket, maybe a nice sweater and some dark jeans, and then the scarf gives you a bit of pattern, a bit of interest.
Yeah, and such a great wardrobe staple to have because you're gonna be able to wear it for years to come, and it's functional, and it's gonna, if you're well considered with what you purchase, a couple of planes, a pattern, it's gonna end up going with everything in your wardrobe, so you'll get a lot of use out of it. Well, we obviously don't need much convincing on the merits of cashmere scarves, but hopefully we conveyed the value. But if you guys have any further questions or comments, please leave them below, and I know that Chris will be sure to get back to you here.
And please subscribe if you'd like to receive more helpful hints on how to dress better.